Good morning. This is Anuradha, Assistant Professor from Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I am going to deliver a lecture on support environment for development of software products. The support environment for development of software products includes a variety of tools that will enable the development of software in an effective way uh, to deliver the management concepts such as risk management, scheduling, tracking can be made easier with the help of such support environment. It is a software system that provides support for the development, repair, and enhancement of software and for the management and the control of these activities. A typical system contains a central database and a set of software tools. The central database acts as a repository for all information related to a project throughout the lifetime of that project. So, the information such as software requirement specification, design document, the various test cases related to software testing, and many other related information related to software product development will be stored in the central repository, and all the tools which are part of support environment will access the central database and help in an appropriate development of the software product in an efficient way. The software tools offer support for the various activities, both technical and managerial, that must be performed on the project. When it comes to project management, a lot of project planning and estimation has to happen at the beginning of the project, software project. So the software tools enable making the various tasks associated with the project management in an efficient way, such as project planning, estimation of cost, effort, etc. For the development of the software can be done in an effective way with the help of the software tools. The different environments vary in the general nature of their databases and in the coverage provided by the set of tools. In particular, some encourage one specific software engineering methodology, while others provide only general support and therefore allow any of a variety of methodologies to be adapted. Say, for example, when it comes to process model, there are a variety of process models available, and any one of the process model can be chosen for developing the software. Some support environment will provide only general support, and it will allow the project manager to choose any of the methodologies to be adopted, and some environment just support only a specific software engineering methodology. That depends on the nature of the support environment we are using. All environments, however, reflect concern for the entire software lifecycle, starting from getting requirements from the customers till it is implemented and being maintained while the software is being used by the customers, and offer support for project management rather than just helping in the building of the software. The programming support environment, which is shortly called as PSCs, vary in the general nature of their databases and in the coverage provided by and the degree of cooperative interaction of the set of tools and programming languages supported. So, the programming support environment provides support for the programming aspects of software development, repair, and enhancement. It provides tools for building the coding of the software in a rapid manner and also in an efficient way. A typical system contains a central database and a set of software tools. A programming support environment might be considered as a more technologically advanced form of program development system. A project support environment provides support for the full life cycle of software development and also the project control and management aspects of a software intensive project. So the not only the project support environment supports for the full life cycle of the software development, but also it provides a support for the project control and management aspects. So when it comes to project management aspects, so risk management estimation plays an important role in project management, and making the risk management and also the estimation in an efficient way can be made easier with the help of such project support environment. Tools are available for making every such activity under project management. So the risk can be identified, and they can alternative actions to handle those risks can be easily done with the help of the tools, and also the estimation can be done easier with the help of the tools. The project support environment will have all the features of a programming support environment plus software tools to support the earlier phases of the software development, which are called as the case upper tools and tools associated with the management and control of the project. So there are a lot of representative tools which will support the development of the software. One such tool is editors. These editors can be textual or graphical editors, using which the software engineering activities can be done easier. We can follow a formal syntax or can be used for informal text or freeform fixtures. When it comes to software engineering, plenty of graphs are needed to be created as part of analysis and design, and also a lot of documentation is needed to be created. So everything can be made easier with the help of usage of these kind of editors. So these editors can be textual or graphical, can follow a formal syntax, and also it can be used for creating informal text or freeform fixtures. So it may be monolingual or multilingual depending upon the languages that are supported. So another tool that can be part of support environment are linkers. Linkers are used to combine object code fragments into a larger program. Like the editors, this can be monolingual or multilingual. In a broader sense, tools for linking specification modules able to perform checking and binding across various specification modules can be the linking between the various specification modules can be done easier with the help of such linkers. Interpreters are other type of tools which are part of a program support environment. So it can be used traditionally at the programming language level and also at the requirement specification level. Requirements animation can be done easier with the help of the interpreters. These interpreters can be numeric or symbolic. So the code generators are also the tools that can be part of the program support environment. So these kind of code generators can be used to transform a high level description into a lower level description. A specification can be transformed into an implementation. A practical example for code generator is the fourth generation language. So the fourth generation languages can act as code generators which convert the request from the users into the implementation. A high level description can be converted into a lower level description. High level description can refer to the requirement specification which can be transformed into the coding. So when the requirement specification is made in a formal way, it can be easily converted into the lower level description. A specification can directly be transformed into an implementation if the specification is made in a formal way. So now we have a lot of formal methods for defining a formal specification such as Z notation, etc. So when the specification is made in a formal way, they can be directly implemented. They can be transformed into the coding with the help of the code generators. So code generators are also a part of the program support environment, using which the programs can easily be generated directly from the specification if it is made in a formal way. So example is fourth generation languages. So debuggers are also the tools which form a part of program support environment. So testing and debugging plays an important role in generating an error-free software. Only if the software is error-free, it will be usable by the customers. So the maintenance, the effort taken for maintenance will be lesser only if the number of faults identified in a software when it is used by the customers is very less or nil. So the debuggers are tools which will be used to fix the errors that are identified during the testing phase. So testing is an important part of software engineering which is used to conduct the various levels of testing in the software. So the interior and the exterior of the software will be tested using black box and the white box testing methods. So the test cases will be created as part of project planning. So the test planning will be part of project planning, and the test cases will be designed, and these test cases will be applied once the source code is generated, and it will be tested to see whether any errors are found in the software, whether any discrepancies are found. If any difficulties are found with the software, uh, it is needed to be checked by the developers, and appropriate changes are needed to be done to the coding in order to avoid such errors. So debugging is the process of identifying and fixing the error present in the software. So debuggers are tools which will make this debugging process an automated one. It may be viewed as special kinds of interpreters where execution state will be inspectable, execution mode will be definable, and it supports animation to support program understanding. So there are tools present for performing the software testing, which also forms a part of a program support environment. So the tools for software testing is of different types. Certain tools will help in test documentation tools. So a lot of documentation will be associated with testing. So they are said to be test documentation tools. Any kind of information related to the various testing, such as test cases, test procedure, the results you obtain by applying the test cases for the various kinds of test. Everything is needed to be recorded, and these kind of documentation which is associated with software testing is said to be test documentation, and there are tools that support this test documentation easier. And the next set of tools will be helpful in supporting bookkeeping of test cases. They will act as a repository for the test cases, and forms for test case definition, storage, retrieval. Forms for test case definition, storage, retrieval can also be easily created with the help of the tools. So the diagram shows an example form for storing information related to the various tests. Right? What is the project name and what is the date of test? What is the tested function? Tested module, test case description, description of results, and the comments that are needed to be stored, describing the outputs, observations that are made based on the testing. So there are tools that are associated with the software testing. The tools for test data derivation, that is synthesizing data from path condition. There are tools for test evaluation. What example, various coverage metrics. There are different types of coverages that are used to make the to measure the testing, right? How much percentage of testing have been completed. So that can be measured with the help of various coverage metrics. So that we will be having tools for test evaluation, whether 100 percentage testing have been completed over the software, whether all kinds of testing, module testing, integration testing, and every other kind of testing have been performed on the software, whether all the statements present in the software have been covered, whether all the loops involved in the software have been covered. So different coverage metrics are followed, and using those coverage metrics we can evaluate the testing. So we have tools for test evaluation, and then we have tools for testing other software qualities. So the testing is done to test the quality of the software in all aspects, right? So it is used to test the reliability of the software, it is used to test the usability of the software, and many other parameters define the software quality. So the testing involves testing the quality of the software on the whole. So the tools are available for testing other software qualities also. We have tools for automating static analysis. Static analysis is a type of testing that is used to analyze the coding of the software before the actual testing begins. So static analysis is a is not a dynamic testing. So the other kinds of testing we perform on the software, such as white box testing and black box testing, are said to be dynamic testing. So the various modules of the software will be executed, and during execution the outputs will be observed, and test results are observed. So this is how the white box and black box testing are conducted, and they are said to be dynamic testing. Static analysis is another kind of inspection over the software, which is done well before the actual testing begins and after the code is constructed. So static analysis helps in identifying many kinds of errors before the actual testing begins, and it reduces the number of errors that are identified during the actual dynamic testing. So there are tools available for performing static analysis also. They are said to be static analyzers. So data and control flow analyzers are part of static analyzer, and they will help in analyzing the data flow and the control flow. It can point out possible flaws or suspicious looking state. Example, detecting uninitialized variables. If any uninitialized variables are found in the software, they can easily be identified with the help of these static analyzers. So once it is identified, it will be fixed, and before the software is being passed to the testing stage. So the number of errors that are to be identified in the testing phase will get reduced much when the static analysis is used after the code construction and before the actual testing. And we are having tools for managing the user interfaces. They are said to be user interface management system, shortly called as UIMS. And these kinds of tools provide a set of basic abstractions such as windows, menus, scroll box, etc. And these are some of the components that are often found in the user interfaces. So when the user interfaces are needed to be created, these kinds of tools provide the basic abstractions, and they can be used directly in developing the user interfaces. And these abstractions can be customized so that we can create interfaces of our own interest. And these tools will provide a library of runtime routines to be linked to the developed application in order to support input and output. User interfaces are the ways through which the users will be interacting with the software. So the inputs are given and outputs are obtained only through the user interfaces, and this is the only component using which the users will be interacting with the software. So it provides a library of runtime routines to be linked to the developed application in order to support input and output. UIMS fall both under the category of development tools and under the category of end product components. And we have representative tools for configuration management too. So configuration management is an important part of software engineering, and it is an umbrella activity which will be carried out throughout the lifetime of the software engineering. So configuration management refers to the management of the changes that are done to the various work products of the software. So when during the life cycle of the software, there are a lot of framework activities being carried out, and various work products are generated. So the work products, examples of some work products are software requirement specification, which is the final product of the analysis phase. So a design documentation will be created at the end of the design stage, and these are considered as work products. So when it comes to the coding phase, so the coding created for the various modules are said to be the work products, and plenty of other work products are also generated, and all these work products once generated will be stored in a repository, and this repository will act as a shared database, and the people involved in the various engineering activities will be having access to this database, and they can refer to the various components that are placed in this database. So configuration management helps in creating the versions, in storing the various versions of the work products, and whenever some changes are needed to be done to the work products, when the changes are needed to be done, when some errors are found in the software during testing, or when some changes are needed to be done to the software. So these changes may be needed during the software development itself, or it may be needed when the software is being used by the customers at any point of time during the lifetime of the software. So when this is needed to be done, the changes are needed to be done to the software. So the changes have to be incorporated right from the beginning. So in the changes are to be reflected to the software requirement specification, and then to the design document, then to the coding of the software. It should always be done in a procedural manner, and not directly the changes will be done to the coding of the software. So configuration management helps in doing these changes in a procedural manner, and also every version of the work product. So these kinds of changes may be done in any number of times, and every time you make changes to these work products, a new version will be created and it will be stored in the database. As many versions of work products are created, each and every such version will be stored in the repository. So version management plays an important role in configuration management. So the number of versions stored, the change history, everything will be maintained. And then these tools will help in workspace control. So there will be private workspace and shared workspace given to the various users of the repository. So users here refers to the team members who will be having access to the various components of the software. And then the product modeling and building can be made easier with the help of the tools. So the configuration management tools also form an important part in the program support environment. And then so this is this diagram shows how the revisions have been made to the various components of the software, right? Suppose there is a component such as software requirement specification. It will be given initially a version number 1.1, and later on when some changes are needed to be done, they are incorporated, and the new version 1.2 will be generated. Likewise, any number of versions can be created for a work product, and the version number will be given, and also the history of changes can be easily recorded and maintained with the help of these configuration management tools. We have representative tools for reverse and re-engineering also. Reverse and re-engineering is needed when we have the legacy software systems. When we have legacy software systems, we need to retrieve the functionalities that are delivered, retain the functionalities delivered by these kinds of software systems, and we need to make changes to the various work products associated with the software. So that can be done with the help of these reverse and re-engineering tools. So they will act as a program understanding systems. So what we will be having is just the programs, and a proper design of the software, proper requirement specification of the software will not be available. If we want to extract these abstractions from the existing program, the reverse and re-engineering tools can be better used. They are used to understand the program, and helps to synthesize suitable abstractions from the code. For example, control and data flow graphs or use graphs can be generated from the existing code. It can be used to extract cross references and other kinds of documentation material on the product. Reverse engineering tools also support the process of making the code and other artifacts consistent with each other. And then we have the tools for project management. So project management is one of the high responsibility tasks in modern organizations, used in many types of projects ranging from software development to developing the next generation fighter artifacts. So project management involves many activities such as risk management, estimation, project scheduling, and tracking of the project. If something is detected during the tracking of the project, that something, when it is not on the track, that is needed to be controlled immediately. Necessary actions are needed to be taken. So the project management can be done easier with the help of the tools. In order to execute a project successfully, a project manager or the project management team should be supported by a set of tools. These tools can be adopted for project management according to the nature of the project they have undertaken. The use of such tools usually makes the project manager's work easy, as well as it standardizes the work and the routine of a project manager. So these tools will be helpful in creating a milestone checklist. One of the best tools to determine whether a team member is on track in terms of the project progress. So the progress of a team member will be tracked based on the project schedule, and when some team member is identified as not to be on the uh, track of the project, then immediately some action is needed to be taken by the project manager to make him or her to be back on the track. So Gantt chart also helps in doing the project management easier. So the scheduling and tracking can be made easier with the help of the Gantt chart, and tools are available to creating such milestone checklist and Gantt chart. And there are tools which are part of support environment for decision support and synthesis. So decisions are needed to be taken by the project manager throughout the lifetime of the software, and such decision support and synthesis can be made easier with the help of the tools that are part of support environment. So these decision making tools are based on common sense and are used in all the trades for backing up the decisions taken by the decision making authorities. Time, cost, and scope are the triple constraints of any project, and the decision regarding the time allocated and the cost involved and the scope of the project can be made easier with the help of these decision support and synthesis tools. So one such tool is said to be Process Decision Program Chart. It is a new management planning tool that systematically identifies what might go wrong in a plan under development. Countermeasures are developed to prevent or offset these problems. By using PDPC, you can either revise the plan to avoid the problems or be ready with the best response when a problem occurs. So another tool for decision support is failure mode and effects analysis. It is a structured approach to discovering potential failures that may exist within the design of a product or process. Failure modes are the ways in which a process can fail. Effects are the ways that these failures can lead to waste, defects, or harmful outcomes for the customer. So failure mode and effects analysis can be done easier with the help of the tools. And another tool for decision support is decision tree. Decision tree analysis exercise will allow project leaders to easily compare the different courses of action against each other and evaluate what are the risks associated with using every technique, and the probabilities of success and the potential benefits associated with each. And risk management, we have tools for making decision regarding the risk involved with the software project. Risk management is an important function in organizations today. Increasingly complex and ambitious projects are being undertaken by the companies, and these projects must be executed successfully in an uncertain and often risky environment. Risk impact probability chart is one such tool for making effective decision support and synthesis regarding the risk associated with your software. Thank you.